Under the same roof, we share the love. Embracing the differences like hand in glove. Spreading peace and joy, it's a beautiful sight. Together we shine in each other's light. United we stand in love's pure might. Watching the world share in love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Watching the World. We're watching the world. We have breaking news. As you guys know, tonight was the big White House Correspondents Dinner. And lo and behold, I guess someone was trying to come and take out the President of the United States. What's happening, folks? There's all sorts of gunshots. We heard that at least one person is dead throughout all of this. So let's see how this all went down, and then we'll snoop around a little bit to see what's happening in live time after the fact. But let's see how this whole thing materialized. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, folks. It's late at night, but I'm on it. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's see what this is about. Good evening, everybody. So we're going back in time to see how this all went down in live time, in live and living color. Let's check it out, folks. Shout out to Pretty. Nice to see you. What's up, Jeff? What's going on, J Cat? J Cat was here probably before me. That's incredible, J Cat. Start watching the crowd. You're going to see something pop off here in the crowd. I think there was a gunshot. Listen, when the gun fired, notice the president, nobody really paid attention. Check it out. Watch this. They didn't really pay attention. I don't know why. See? See the gunfire went off. Look, there's still the president didn't even pay attention, but you could hear that. You just hear. I'm gonna play one quick moment before we move on. Check this out. Watch how the gunshot goes off. You're gonna hit it. You're gonna hit a gun. See? That was a gunshot. These guys, they don't even pay attention to that. They didn't. I guess they didn't. Couldn't hear it. Maybe I don't know. This is crazy, man. Man, oh man. You know what's crazy? This week in the chat, we had somebody saying, well, you know what? I don't want to say too much. Never mind. Now we're gonna get to the news about this to see what actually happened, but let's keep watching and how this all developed. Notice the crowd, they're getting under the tables, right? They're getting under the tables. That's smart. I mean, I was watching this. This had just happened. I was watching it live and it went down. It's crazy. Stanley says, Big Daddy. Oh my goodness, you guys are so amazing. Stanley, good to see you. Stanley says, Big Daddy's is indestructible like a cat with 9 lives. Sorry, guys. I just want to go back one quick moment since we're so close. We're going to see how this went down one more time here for those that are just coming in. You notice the gunfire goes off and they don't even pay attention. Right there. So that was a gunfire. You can see they're still taking his menu in order. Everybody's coming after the president, I guess. This is, I've never seen so many attempts on one president, right? Wow, you guys already saying this is stage two. This is odd, right? Everybody's saying it's stage. I don't know about that. They say a man is down, dead as a wedge. We're going to get to that. Look at these guys come out with the big guns. You don't want to mess around with these guys. You won't stand a chance, man. Look at that. That's amazing. Now, notice the people, all the guests, they're starting to, they don't know if they want to get under the table or, try to be macho, but most of them were getting under the table, right? Notice it sounds like some guys start yelling. So who are they? Is this like multiple people? But you're going to hear it shortly here. So put a one in the chat if you would have gotten under the table, or put a two if you would have just look at this guy. He's just looking at his menu. Look at that. That's weird, right? Put a one in the chat if you would have gotten under the table, or two if you'd be like the fella sitting here to the left, just watching it unfold. Of course, Caprello would be a macho man. He would, I get it. He would be sitting up straight. J Cat's a tough guy, though. I could see that happening. Oh, we have some ladies that say that they would sit up too. My heavens. I think everybody would have hit the deck, right? Whoa, what is going on? I'm sorry, guys. I'm nosy. Let's see. What was that commotion about? Check that out. You see that? What are they jumping for? Look at this here. Oh, they're trying to safeguard a female. I wonder who that is. I wonder what they were doing. So, for those that just came in, there was a shooting at the White House at the Correspondents Dinner. They said was an attempt on the president, but he's safe and sound. From what I'm understanding, at least one person was killed. I guess the shooter, but we're going to get to that. We'll get to the reports. Right now, we're just going through and see what really happened. It's too late at night for this type of stuff, right? It's supposed to be time to chill out. That's right. Cowboys for life. It was time to lay the hat down, but no, tonight it had to happen. This lady has her phone up, taking photos and videos, I guess, so doesn't appear to be too scared. USA! USA! Oh, okay. So it's some of the guys that are there are screaming USA. Those are the tough guys that are the good guys, I guess. Pickle says it's embarrassing. Tell us why. What's up, Anderson? How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, I think we're going to get to the part, but I think they were contemplating continuing the dinner. I think it probably is proceeding. They just took the guy out, probably just took him out, folks. We're starting to see a lot of strange things. So now we're going to go live right now to see what's happening. We could come back and check this out if you guys want to see it, but let's see where we're at with this whole thing. Then we'll look at some news snippets. All right, so this is live right now. This is the live feed. So people are just lingering around. Okay, so I guess it's going to be business as usual. I'm sorry, guys. We're going to have to go back and watch that again. But so I could tell you already, the president of the United States is going to come back out. He's going to continue, and he's going to probably say fight, fight, fight again, and appear to be very strong. I'm just telling you, that's what I imagine is going to happen. He's going to come back out. Everybody's going to applaud, and they're going to say he's a hero. Yeah. And Caprello, he loves the president so much, he's just going to go to sleep tonight and just think about how marvelous it is to be, safe tonight. Right, Caprello? So we're going to go back and watch what happened for those that are just coming in. I'm going to pull up some news snippets to get the backdrop. So while I'm doing that, let's go back and watch. Okay, guys, I want to give you guys a good idea of what they're saying. And then I'll keep an eye on this in live time too. Everybody's on their cell phone, telling their folks, I was here when they tried to take out the president and this and that. All right, so here you're going to hear the shot go off first, and you're going to see the president didn't even know what was happening. And I'm going to pull up some news. Guys, I know it's not a lot, but it's a Saturday night, and I decided to come back out to cover this. So could we at least get a like, folks? How about a like? If not, it's okay, though. So you heard that shot. Now notice them after the shot. You'll see this girl on the end. She's about to laugh, and then she realizes while she's laughing that this is not a laughing season. Notice how the president ducks his head. He's the the leader of the free world, right? And they're safeguarding him, but it looks like it's just Secret Service, just one guy standing in front of him, maybe another guy off to the side. But you'll see the big guns come out.
The Department of Homeland Security was created after 9/11. Charles, I know Sean Curran. He was the lead agent there in Butler, Pennsylvania, a trained professional. There's a motorcade on the left side there, by the way, that's larger than the one we saw before. Doesn't look like the presidential one, but you can see all kinds of vehicles leaving. Charles, Sean Curran was put in charge of the Secret Service by this president because he trusts him, longtime Secret Service veteran, to kind of fix what was broken within this agency. I'm not saying one incident proves it's still broken, but Charles, if I'm the commander-in-chief, I'm saying, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm telling you, Secretary Mullen is fully engaged right now based on this incident, the Secret Service being one of the essential components under the Department of Homeland Security. So the Secretary is going to be looking for answers, for information about exactly how this unfolded and was allowed to take place here, given the vast amount of resources that are dedicated to the White House Correspondents.
Okay, good point.
Now, the White House Correspondents Dinner, as we know, is not designated as a national special security event.
Aren't you guys happy that our president is safe and sound, right?
Right, or a Super Bowl or something.
Right.
Charles,
or
let me interrupt.
Now the certification of the elections. So
Charles,
going forward, this is something that Secretary Mullen is going to have to explore and talk to the Secret Service about. And
raise the level.
As we know, Ed and Bianca, after Butler, Pennsylvania, a lot of focus has been given to the Secret Service by both Secretary Nolan and Secretary Mullen.
Pardon me, but that picture, Charles, that picture that we're seeing live, the podium, our staff did a great job here. Chris noticed that the presidential seal has been taken off what they call the goose. It's the large blue podium. That seal is only on the podium when the president is going to speak, Charles. You know that from doing events like this. That tells us they're not anticipating the president coming back.
And maybe he does a phone call. We also want to update you. The FBI Washington field office has posted their National Capital Response Squad has responded. So you've got the FBI there as well, investigating all this. There's also a report that President Trump was pulled off the stage, and we saw that, but he was also put in a hall down the room as a hold as they were making sure
you don't want to rush him out
threats
into another situation.
And while he was there, he was saying,
you know, he's building this compound under the ballroom. It looks like he's going to need it.
But hold on. We have a statement now from the Secret Service for the first time. Quote, the U.S. Secret Service, in coordination with the Metropolitan Police Department in Washington, is investigating a shooting incident. So they're confirming what we suspected. It was a shooting near the main magnetometer screening area at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The President and the First Lady are safe among all protectees. One individual is in custody. And there's the image that you mentioned, Bianca. It looks like our first glimpse of the suspect. Initial reports said he may have been taken down and killed. Now the Secret Service is saying he or she is in custody. It says an individual. The condition of those involved is not yet known, and law enforcement is actively assessing the situation. So, Charles, before we get to Mike Carter, what do you read from that? So the President and First Lady are safe, one individual in custody. the condition of those involved is not yet known.
Hang on, we have an update here from
Okay.
the White House Correspondents President again, CBS. Let's pipe in her audio. Weiju Jiang.
And law enforcement has requested that we leave the premises consistent with protocol. And
How do you?
he wanted to emphasize that nobody was hurt. He and the First Lady, the cabinet, everybody's safe. The president will be having a press briefing at the White House in 30 minutes. That is not a joke.
Wow. Did you hear that?
And he insists that we will reschedule this event in the next 30 days. And that he wanted to do it tonight. He wanted to continue despite the news, but has to follow security protocol. I said earlier tonight that journalism is a public service because when there is an emergency, we run to the crisis, not away from it. And on a night when we are thinking about the freedoms in the First Amendment, we must also think about how fragile they are. I saw all of you reporting, and that's what we do. So, thank God everybody is safe. And thank you for coming together tonight. We will do this again. Thank you.
Taking the stage.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Remember, the press was supposed to confront the president tonight. Remember that was a big talk this week. They wanted to confront him about freedoms of the press, freedom of the press.
30 minutes. It is 9:41 here on the East Coast, Ed. We would have been about 10 minutes into his comments.
Yeah.
Instead, this is unfolded in a manner that obviously has been disturbing. The president is safe. He wanted everyone to know that he will have a news conference. They're going to reschedule this. But a night that was supposed to be full of revelry, maybe not so much for the press, but really kind of the last laugh for the president, has taken a very serious change of.
Aren't you guys happy that our president is safe, right?
Able to access the Hilton ballroom this evening, and there are images of that shooter in custody.
Yeah.
He is not dead. The Secret Service, of course, putting out a statement saying just moments ago the individual in custody and the condition is not yet known.
Okay, let's get back to the ballroom or the area around there. I think our White House correspondent Mike Carter is back on the phone. Mike, what else do you know? Are you and others heading to the White House for this briefing with the president? Mike? Okay, it just dropped, but we have Bo Dietl. He's a member of...
I don't know if we had a prophet or what, but this week in the chat, we had someone prophesying that this would happen, and it happened. This is kind of weird to me.
Night, obviously, but we appreciate your insight. Welcome, Ed and Bianca here. Your reaction to what we're seeing unfolding was pretty shocking.
I was shocking. Shocking is not the word. I just watched it all in action. I've been around a lot of presidential. I did some presidential security for some of the conventions and all that. And this is one of the most secure locations with all the cabinet members there. I don't know how in the hell somebody could get into that perimeter. You should have gone through about 3 or 4 perimeters.
Just doesn't sound right. How they get a gun inside of the White House Correspondents Dinner?
Unless something was hidden somewhere and no one discovered it, and that's what happened.
Yeah, the sweep, the advance team, right? If it was left a few days before. Or
And also, me as a retired.
This is almost like a movie, right? What do you guys think? It's like this is starting to become like a movie. It's weird how these things keep happening.
I mean, they won't allow me to come near there where the president is, even when I'm retired law enforcement and I'm currently on the Homeland Security Advisory Council.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is the security side, what I did see was there was a lot of
man, all of my good folks are coming in tonight. Thank you guys for the support. I see all of my good peoples here tonight. That's amazing.
Important people like that. That should have been a lot more security, Secret Service, Homeland Security. But
I should have been calling the cows by now, but I saw this and wanted to come on.
If we have the picture outside too of the exterior of the Hilton too, there's been some question about maybe even just not having anything within blocks of this, and really having a wider perimeter to make it even harder and more difficult to be accessed from the street, from the onset here, Bo.
Yeah, but we all remember the inauguration.
Yeah.
I mean, we were a lot of I was
miles.
There. You had to walk miles to get to the damn place. And I mean, this to me was one of the most important. This would have been sent to target. This thing should have been more secure. I'm very surprised. And the Secret Service is the ones that have to handle that. And they got to get, when they do things like this, they got to realize in this time and age, you know, this is something what people look at, and that has to be secure. We must secure.
Let me tell you something. I'm already seeing people in the chat say that this is staged, so I can only imagine. You know, this week everybody was talking about saying that the shot in the ear was staged. So, this week coming up, we're gonna have a lot of folks saying that this was staged. I could feel it in the air. That's Phil Collins. I could feel it in the air, folks.
Where the escalator was, and they had unarmed security guards there, which to me is ridiculous.
Well, President Trump has been truthing.
And look at all these people. No steak tonight, Pepper Jack. No steak tonight. No wine. You got to go home. They say you got to get out of here, you know.
Leave the premises consistent with protocol, which we will do immediately. I will be giving a press conference in 30 minutes from the White House press briefing room. The First Lady plus the Vice President and all cabinet members are in perfect condition.
That's right. We have to go back and see. I really have to go back and see. When did Melania? I don't even think we had a chance to see how the First Lady got out. We saw how the president was covered, but we saw her before the shot. We're going to have to go back out and watch this again. I'm sorry to show it over and over, but hey, is that not why we're here?
They were leaving. So a White House Correspondents Dinner has now turned.
We'll come back to that in a few. Let's get back to this, folks. I'm sorry. Here we go. Let's see what the First Lady did. Let's check her out a little bit. I don't know if she was in the frame. Let's see. And by the way, Carolyn Levitt, she's going to be leaving temporarily because she's pregnant. She's going out temporarily. So they say J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, the President of the United States is going to be filling in for her. Just so you guys know, she's leaving on maternity leave. You heard a shot? That was a shot. Okay, so there's his wife. There's the First Lady right there. Let's see what happens. I saw what happened to the president. Oh, she ducked her head down. That's why we don't even see her. She's the smartest person at the table. Check it out. Watch how the First Lady ducks her head down below the table. Everybody else is dumbfounded. Watch this. So there was the shot. You guys heard the shot or whatever that was. And now keep your eyes. Now we're watching the First Lady. And notice how she is so smooth. Check it out. And just like that, she disappeared. You see the president still sitting there wide open and everybody else at the table. Now you see the people here trying to decide if they want to get down under the table or what have you. So watch that. This guy right here has his camera out recording video. Unbelievable. All right, Pretty says she's not smooth. They told everybody to get down before she did. Okay. Thank you very much, Pretty. Let's see. Katina says, I'm like watching the world is going on. Exactly. What the world is going on. Thank you. There's some female that they try to safeguard and get her out. I wonder who it is. Is it the president's daughter? I don't know, but check this out. She's gonna come out of the crowd and they rush her out. So I would like to know who this female is. See, there she goes. Oh, it looks like it's RFK and his wife. So that's who they're trying to get out. Isn't that him? Yep, that's him. I could tell him anywhere. Look at these folks here with their cameras out, ready to go. Don't even know what danger could be coming down the pipeline, right? Come on, folks. We can't say this stage. Come on. Let's give the president a little bit let's give him a 5-star. We don't want to see anything happen to the president of the United States, right? I don't want to wish any violence. I don't want to see anything like that happen to an American president. They thought they would get other people chanting USA, but these other folks, they said, no, we're not here for that for whatever reason, you know. So I would like to hear from you guys. How did a person get a gun into the White House Correspondents Dinner? That sounds a little bit off to me. I wonder what's going on. How do you think they would have been able to do such a thing? Let's hear from you guys in the comments. Put a 1. I'm just curious because of all the people saying this is staged. Put a 1 in the chat if you think it was staged. Put a 2 if you think that that's absurd. Put a 3 if you don't even care. Looks like we're torn down the middle in regards to this matter. Let's go live now to see what's actually happening at the event. They told him, listen, we don't know where you're going, but you got to get out of here, folks. Well, we got a few people still hanging around, right? Got a few still in the building. I'm going to go back and show you guys how the individual did not die. In fact, the person just went down, and we'll probably never hear about this individual again. How much you guys want to bet? I bet you won't even hear anything else about it. So this is live right now. 9:55. Looks like a lot of people are still lingering. You can't even go to the White House nowadays and have a good time, right? Somebody always has to spoil the party. Tonight they were supposed to challenge the president about the pressure that's on the media, and we didn't even get a chance to see that. I'll be doggone.
I think they're still having trouble hearing you.
How many attempts have we had on our current president, Trump? How many attempts have we had? We had a lot of temptations, right? We had a lot of them so far, right? At least 4 or 5, right?
Sam, they said they're done with me. Okay. All right, I'm going back to
All right, I'm going to show you guys how they say the person didn't even die or anything. He was just laying on the ground. I don't know. This is so weird. And he has a gun. He got into the White House. It just doesn't sound right. But let's see if we can find. Here we go. Here's her little spill here. Let's go back and find where he's lying on the floor. Guys, bear with me 1 second here. See if I can find it. Here we go. So I'm going to show you here how this guy is just laying on the ground, relaxing.
He suspected it was a shooting near the main magnetometer screening area at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The president and the first lady are safe among all protectees. One individual is in custody, and there's the image that you mentioned, Bianca.
Yep.
It looks like our first glimpse of the suspect. Initial reports said he may have been taken down and killed. Now the Secret Service is saying he or she is in custody. It says an individual. The condition of those involved is not yet known, and law enforcement is actively assessing the situation. So, Charles, before we get to Mike Carter, what do you read from that? So the president and first lady are safe, one individual in custody. The condition of those involved is not yet known.
Hang on, we have an update here from the White House Correspondents President again, CBS. Let's pipe in her audio. Read you, Jang.
And law enforcement has requested that we leave the premises consistent with protocol. And he wanted to.
You know, the president's been talking about Jesus the last 2 weeks, so maybe Jesus did save him. What do you guys think?
Emphasize that nobody was hurt. He and the first lady, the cabinet, everybody's safe. The president will be having a press briefing at the White House in 30 minutes. That is not a joke. And he insists that we will reschedule this event in the next 30 days.
Oh, that's right. He's going to have this press briefing, so let me look out for it so we don't miss it.
You wanted to continue despite the news, but has to follow security protocol. I said earlier tonight that journalism is a public service because when there is an emergency, we run to the crisis, not away from it. And on a night when we are thinking about the freedoms in the First Amendment, we must also think about how fragile they are. I saw all of you reporting, and that's what we do. So thank God everybody is safe. And thank you for coming together tonight. We will do this again. Thank you.
Taking the stage.
Yeah.
Thank God the president is safe. I mean, let's just underscore that.
Yeah.
So that's the White House Correspondents President there, Weijia Jiang. So the president's going to have a news conference in 30 minutes. It is 9:41 here on the East Coast, Ed. We would have been about 10 minutes into his comments.
Yeah.
Instead, this is unfolded in a manner that obviously has been.
Some in the audience are saying that this happened because the polls are down. They're trying to beef the polls back up. Oh, my.
But a night that was supposed to be full of revelry, maybe not so much for the press, but really kind of the last laugh for the president, has taken a very serious change of tone here as we wonder what went wrong. Why was a shooter able to access the Hilton ballroom this evening? And there are images of that shooter in custody.
Yeah, Paul, if you see anything, give me an alert. I'm trying to watch out for it too, but thanks, Paul. If you guys see the president gearing up to give his press conference, he's going to speak from the White House after almost having a tragedy here. It's quite interesting. This is we're seeing things now we've never seen before. These are miracles, folks.
Okay. It just dropped, but we have Bo Dietl. He's a member of the President's Homeland Security Advisory Council, NYPD veteran, of course. Bo, always good to talk to you. Difficult night, obviously, but we appreciate your insight. Welcome, Ed and Bianca here. Your reaction to what we're seeing unfolding was pretty shocking.
I was shocking. Shocking is not the word. I just watched it all in action. I've been around a lot of presidential. I did some president.
All right, let's go to the live times to be nosy, see what's cooking, folks. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what's
for what they thought tonight would or wouldn't be. But, you know, this was supposed to be President Trump's.
Our good sister there, she is eating away. She said, I'm not going to leave here without eating my dinner. Oh, my, look at it.
The seriousness of it obviously sets in for everyone. Can you just give us sort of the mood, the color with some of the folks, maybe not the biggest Trump fans
well,
there?
You know, a lot of people jumped into their jobs and started reporting, making phone calls.
Look at those big guns. There they go.
Right now, they were doing that. A lot of people were rattled. Some people, you know, people react to a crisis and terror differently. Some people are like, you know, almost, you know, I mean, acting quite normal.
Folks, they're going to have to take away guns before long, right? I guess that's the next play because of all the people trying to take out the president. Why does everybody want to take out this president?
Social event and expect that the next thing you know is they're going to evacuate the dais so fast that your head's spinning, like you can't even see him leave, and everybody else is under the table. I mean, I'm under the table. I'm sitting under the table with the British ambassador to the United States, who's brand new.
Yeah, I would have. Listen, don't guys, don't cancel me, but I would have been like that lady. I would have been making sure I get those last bits of steak or whatever they had, and maybe drinking and the cake off the table.
And he was next to Carrie Lake. I hear Chris Ruddy tell Franklin Graham, get down, because Franklin was the last one down at our table. So, I mean, it was just pandemonium.
Yeah.
There's some video now coming in of the takedown of the shooter. If you stand by, if you have to go, Greta, tell us, but it was playing out on the screen. And this might look like the aftermath of the takedown. Yeah, because the shooter appears to be on the ground, Bianca, obviously. So it's our first, you know,
I'll tell you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, look at him. They got him on his belly. Look at him. He's doing they have him laying there like a fish. Oh, my goodness, like a fish out of water. They have him down there on his belly flapping. Look at him.
And you just cannot
there he is.
underestimate how bad the traffic was to get into the place, and how terrible
Yeah.
the security was once you open the door. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, the traffic wasn't security. The traffic was just sort of a mess with a bunch of police cars stopping. Anybody could have walked in there.
Look like he has a bow clip in his hair or something like that.
Anybody could have.
So the one thing that we're seeing now is that there appeared to be like a sheet or a towel over this shooter, and he has no shirt on.
Look like they have him wrapped in saran wrap of some sort. This is crazy.
I don't know if he was a protester, had the shirt off, if law enforcement ripped his shirt off to see if he had a bomb on him, or what may have transpired. All that's going to come out, obviously. And we're going to hear from the President of the United States live, pardon me, any moment now from the White House briefing room. And oh, by the way, Greta, there's one other piece of information, which is when you...
Yeah, Anderson, looks like they got the guy naked there. That's crazy. They got some little plastic over him, and he's on his belly.
You read that White House pool note that says, "We are flying back to the White House, fastest motorcade I've ever been in." They say the motorcade was rolling at 9:46, which is only 14 minutes ago. Why is that important? Bianca, that tells us the president was still at the hotel. He did not.
Oh, yeah, they probably held him there.
They had him in a holding
held
room.
him there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they probably did hold him.
Yeah, they have his hair propped up with a bow or something, some little I guess they're trying to keep his hair up.
There, Ed, because when we first of all, it was raining. We're all walking in the raining to this building. And that's not raining now, but you could hear protesters. I said it sounded like protesters on
It's not like a Barbie, but it's not far from it.
the other side of the hotel. So, but that's Washington. I mean, you know, we like the First Amendment. We're proud of the First Amendment. People protest even when you don't like it. You know.
Somebody say he's from California. Oh my goodness, you guys, come on now. You guys are too funny.
No, we're proud of it. We don't like shootings. We don't like terrorism. We don't like anything like that. So it's people that's sort of ordinary. That
Almost look like they have aluminum foil wrapped around them.
was the only thing that was abnormal that I thought was the lack of security.
Yeah, well, that is abnormal. In the wake of where we are, there's, you know, a war in Iran. This is now a question we keep asking all our guests, Greta, is how is this happening? How is this allowed to happen again and again? And no one seems to really be able to answer that. The failures
Well, you know,
that
it's
they're
like,
going to continue
I mean, I
after
guess the
time
flip
after
side
time.
is we don't want to live in a police state either. You know, you
No.
can't shut. You know, this is a hotel, and you can't.
This might be, I'm not saying this happened for the reason, but I think the question about guns is getting stronger and stronger these days.
Shut it down. But I think in some ways, I suspect the rain was part of the problem getting people into the building.
Yeah.
You know, because it was raining. It was be my guess. You know, because it's free. It was also cold.
Right.
And get everybody
Yeah.
cold and getting all these people into the building.
All right, so let's see if the president of the United States is giving a speech yet. Let's see here.
The national security.
What's amazing too is President Trump wants this rescheduled. So everything we're looking at here.
So this is live here, so people are still hanging out,
But President
getting that
Trump
last drink in of wine. Look at this
wanted
buddy
this
here. He's
opportunity
just
to have this.
enjoying himself.
Is not going to let a gunman who's now in custody change that. It has changed things dramatically tonight. A lot of different reports. Again, yeah, we'll see if this report about a makeshift room. But we have heard from several people that security felt very lax upon entry. When Ed and I attended together 2 years ago.
Stanley says maybe, let's see, a transgender shooter? Oh my, you guys are so amazing. Okay, Goo Pinder says, how did a gun get into the room? My heavens, that's what everybody wants to know. That's what the preacher man wants to know. We're going to ask Pastor in the morning, say, what happened, Pastor? How you let this happen? Why you didn't tell us it was going to happen, Pastor?
Potentially, you know, this is the type of climate that these people are out there. They are looking for a fight. And if you are a member of the media in this room, they are definitely out there trying to be aggressive.
Okay, so while we wait on the president to come in, folks, and give us some good words, some healing, and some good saving message, we're going to go back and check this out again. If anybody is offended by it, I'm sorry, but we're doing a little investigation here, folks. Let's see what's happening. Let's see. We're going to focus on the president this time around. Look at Secret Service. You guys should have been on this a little bit better. I got to give them a little bit critique. They were stalled. Notice how long it took the Secret Service to get in line after this happened, though. It was a little faulty, I must say. They left him open for quite some time here. Oh, my goodness. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I don't know. After this, I don't know if J.D. Vance wants to be the president, right? Okay, the president's about to take the stage. I'm going to switch over once he comes up. Before we watch what happened, I just want to show you guys. Here we go. Let's see. I want to show you guys what's happening in real time.
156.
All right.
Spot. David Spot. Yes.
This is live.
1-2.
Folks, this is in real time. This is live. They're getting ready for the president. I can't wait to hear what he has to say.
Okay. 1-2. Are you okay? Okay. Good.
I don't hear. Should I be hearing anything?
Before he said the good Lord saved him, let's see if he say that tonight. Maybe that's how he feels. I guess he's getting a lot of passes, right? He's getting a lot of passes.
1-2. 1-2 3. 1-2 3. 3 2 1. Everybody good? Everybody good?
Somebody in the chat earlier tonight said the president's like a cat. He has like 9 lives. He keeps getting all these chances. And so.
3 2 1. Matt Reedy, do I still need to call in? 1 2 3. 1 2.
This lady right here says she wants to be on television tonight, folks.
1 2 3. 1 2 3.
Just look at her.
Thank you. 1-2 1-2. Mic check. 1-2 1-2. Mic check. 1-2.
Now, a lot of people are saying this is a false flag. This is staged. Come on, guys. Let's let the president have a little shine tonight, a little glory. He was saved again, you know. Remember that show, Saved by the Bell? The president keeps getting saved.
Should I be hearing programming, Matt? Matt, should I be hearing programming?
Did we even have one attempt on Joe Biden or Barack Obama? I can't recall one. I don't know. Was there even one on Joe Biden? I don't think anybody. I don't recall one on Joe Biden. I don't think I ever heard about anybody going after Barack Obama. It could have happened. I know they threw a shoe at Bush. Oh, come on now, y'all. Y'all gotta help me out here. Let's see. Let's look at this. Oh my goodness. These comments are through the roof tonight. Anderson says Joe was already deceased while he was in office. Oh my God, man. Ooh, okay. Let's keep it together. Goo Pender says, "Is America great again? It's great tonight." Oh my goodness, Stella, don't make me laugh. Oh my goodness. Betty says again, oh my God, you guys got me going. Oh my goodness. I gotta catch my breath here. Ooh. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys think Iran was behind this. Maybe it was Iran. What do you guys think? Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 2 if you don't think so. Put a 3 if you just don't care.
Boy, balance up. 4-5, 4-5.
He's about to say cut.
Mikey, can you hold this? Seriously, I just, you're right here.
Lights, camera, action, huh?
5-10 minutes.
Have me singing I'm Sorry, Miss Jackson.
Can you have it? Is this a good angle?
Wow, listen, at the White House, guys, I don't know if you can see it, but in the White House chat that we see on the far right on the stage, everybody's saying stage. This is stage. This is a stunt. Another reason to bring the National Guard. Oh, man, everybody's saying this is stage. Fifth time the president has staged. They say, Lord have mercy, they say the president done staged 5 attempts. Oh, my God, man. Jesus Christ. Look at that. Stage. Everybody's saying this is the White House chat. Everybody's saying this is stage. Oh my goodness, man. We're watching movies. They're calling the president. They say cue the orange spotlight. Oh my God. False flag. Look, bullshit. False flag. Stage propaganda. This is the White House, man. This is bad. Nope. No, the shooter isn't dead. He's not dead. He's laying on his belly on the floor like he's doing a belly flop. That was a false narrative put out earlier. He's not dead. No one died.
I still should not be hearing programming.
Man, I'm shocked at all the people saying this is staged. So, some people are saying it's the Epstein files.
Yeah, I heard that. I hear it raining now, but I was. Yeah.
All right. So, while we're waiting on them, we're going to go back and watch what happened. So, just give me one moment. But I'm going to keep this up so you guys don't miss a beat. Let's see here. I have to put this on the turntables. Let's see. Here we go. So I'll keep an eye on that. And we're going to go back to this. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. How about that, guys? All right. So we'll come back to that when the president comes on to talk about how he's won again. Let's see here. Listen, there's a point where the first lady realizes something is wrong, and check out her face. Check it out. She's so alert, Watch this. She looked like she saw a ghost. No, Mashona, no one. I don't think anyone was hurt. Probably the guy that they threw on his belly and took his clothes off him. He's probably hurt. I know his feelings are probably hurt. Now, it looks like they're going to remove RFK, of all people. They're going to remove him and his wife. Check it out. All this hoopla you're about to see is removing it. It looks like to me is RFK. You definitely got to keep him safe. Look how many people they have removing RFK. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 guys to get him and his wife out of there. Yeah, that's him. You could tell by the shape of his head. All right, so looks like they're starting something. So let's see. No, not yet. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Let's get to this here. Nope, nothing yet. Okay. Everybody's getting ready for the big show. President of the United States will be coming on the big screen to talk about how he's survived another one. It's going to be monumental, folks. You don't want to miss it. It's almost like a movie. So while we're waiting on the president, if this was a movie, what would it be called? Let's see how creative we can get tonight. If this was a movie, what would it be called tonight? Let's see what you guys got. Hit me with your best shot. Paul, you think the guy was from the left? Okay, you think it was a Democrat that did this? All right, we have to see. Dan said Sleepless in DC. That's a good one, though. Jeff says Braveheart Never Dies. Okay, I like that. Trumpinator. Bill. Come on, Bill. You almost took me out with that one. Come on, Bill. I'm trying to keep it together here. Let's see. The fake out. Oh my God, man. These people are crazy. This was a bad idea. Okay, the fake out. Oh man. Jeez. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Sophie says escape. Lord have mercy. Oh boy, escape the final destination again. Oh my goodness. Lord have mercy. I don't think I can get through these topics. Whew, man. Oh my God, man. Mm. Okay, I won't be reading those. Whew, man, oh man. Okay, so Ground and Sky says just another shit show. Oh my God. Let's see. Okay. The Stunner says stage. Okay. Okay, here's a good one. T says can't stop us. Pretty says should be a Democrat. Why would it be a Republican? Okay. I don't know. The guy at Butler, Pennsylvania, he was a Republican. All right, I guess the president's coming up, guys. Here we go. Oh my goodness, some of these topics. Okay, here's a good one. Center says unbreakable. Okay. Mr. Short says bad assassination. That's a good name. Oh my goodness. California says the orange flop. Oh my God. Okay. T. Mitchell says Democrats are the biggest threat to America. Thank you, Anderson, for gifting a membership. That's so amazing. Whew, let's see. Let's see if we have any more topics, man. Those topics are too tough for me to get through. Some of them, they're too funny. Oh my goodness, man. All right. Okay. John says Trump's last dance. Okay. All right. Man, some of these comments are hilarious, man. All right. We're waiting on the President of the United States to take the stage and tell us what he thinks in regards to what happened tonight. Man, oh man. Dan says orange is the old Trump. Oh my goodness, man. Jeez. We have some of the most creative themes tonight, titles tonight. Oh my goodness. Eric says the previous shooters were Republicans, right? At least that's what the media says. Okay. I know Butler, Pennsylvania was a Republican. Paul says, let's see, where did that? Paul says, always said Dems hate Trump more than they love America. Good point. Okay. All right. Nina says, how do they blame Democrats when Trump is a Republican? Okay. Thank you. Axel, someone was trying to bring harm to the President of the United States. Looks like he did not lose his life, meaning the person that was trying to do this. So we're waiting on the president to come out at this time to enlighten us about what's happening. Daniel says, were his diapers bulletproof? Oh my. Okay. Eric says, shots fired at the Correspondents Dinner. Okay, thank you very much. hopefully this kicks off and then we'll call it a night. We're going to see what the president has to say, folks. Just sit tight for a minute or two. Guys, hit the like button, share, subscribe, and thank you for tuning in with Watching the World tonight. Thank you, Anderson. Okay. Dan says, why didn't the mentalist know this was going to happen? Nina says, his diapers probably turned bullets away. Oh, my. Freddie says, can you imagine being 70 years old and having to drop down to the floor and crawl out? Okay. That's a good point. Yes, a good point. Angie says, TDS, Trumpination fails. Okay. Yes, indeed, Katina. Say one more time. Give me one more chance. Give me one more chance. Hopefully, we can get this going, folks. Been a long night already. That's funny, Dan. All right. Okay. Uncommon Woman is in the building. Was the attempt on Trump or someone else? Well, the person came in with guns. I guess we assume it was after the president, but they stopped him and looked like they took his clothes off him and wrapped him up in some sort of saran wrap, laid him on his belly. Not sure who the guy is yet, but maybe we'll know. Maybe the president will elaborate. Kimberly says, fake, fake, fake. All right. That's what I'm seeing on the White House chat, too. They're all saying it's fake. Somebody says Maxwell is sitting up front. How is that? Or maybe it's a different Maxwell. No, they're saying Ghislaine Maxwell is there sitting up front. These people are too much. But we do know that the President of the United States is unharmed, along with the First Lady. She was the first one to hit the deck. So they did I'll have to show you guys how they protected the president. It's a little shaky, if you ask me, but I'll let you come to your own conclusion. He wasn't covered, is what I'm saying. All right. Paul says Trump is a badass. All right. Eric says just another day. Sophie says saran wrap. Was he the dinner? Yeah. They did have him in saran wrap, though. I kid you no lie. Ground the Sky says now he can use PTSD as a reason for his issues. Okay. Yes, I think this is probably the fourth attempt on the president so far, at least that I've heard of. 4 attempts so far, probably even more. Somebody says it's all AI. Okay. Eric says he's a draft dodger, is a badass. That's funny. All right. Ground the Sky says all hands on board. All right. Okay, here we go, guys. The moment you've been waiting for. Hit the like button, share, subscribe.
That was very unexpected, but incredibly acted upon by Secret Service and law enforcement. And this was an event dedicated to freedom of speech that was supposed to bring together members of both parties with members of the press. And in a certain way it did, because the fact that they just unified, I saw a room that was just totally unified. It was in one way very beautiful, a very beautiful thing to see. A man charged a security checkpoint armed with multiple weapons, and he was taken down by some very brave members of Secret Service, and they acted very quickly and have just released, for purposes of transparency, clarity, I've ordered it to be put out. You probably have it by now, put out on Truth and put out on many other platforms. A tape showing the violence of this thug that attacked our Constitution, and also showing how quickly Secret Service and law enforcement acted on our country's behalf. Really did a great job. One officer was shot, but saved by the fact that he was wearing obviously a very good bulletproof vest. He was shot from very close distance with a very powerful gun, and the vest did the job. I just spoke to the officer, and he's doing great. He's great shape. He is has very high spirits, and we told him we love him and respect him, and he's a very proud guy. He's very proud of what he does, Secret Service agent. And we looked at all of the conditions that took place tonight, and I will say, you know, it's not a particularly secure building. And I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for lots of different reasons, but today's a little bit different because today we need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before. But everyone owes a tremendous debt of gratitude to the courage of law enforcement, the law enforcement, and working with the DC police. And we just spoke with the mayor. And when we're finished, the police chief is going to take over and discuss it also from their viewpoint. But they also performed exactly as they were supposed to. And you see the attacker in different positions, but you also see the attacker totally subdued and under control. So as you know, this is not the first time in the past couple of years that our republic has been attacked by a would-be assassin who sought to kill. In Butler, Pennsylvania, less than 2 years ago, you all know that story. And in Palm Beach, Florida, a few months after that, we came close. We really had, again, we had some great work done by law enforcement. But in light of this evening's events, I asked that all Americans recommit with their hearts in resolving our difference peacefully. We have to resolve our differences. I will say, you had Republicans, Democrats, independents, conservatives, liberals, and progressives. Those words are interchangeable, perhaps, but maybe they're not. But yet everybody in that room, big crowd, record-setting crowd. There was a record-setting group of people. And there was a tremendous amount of love and coming together. I watched, and I was very, very impressed by that. But we were, First Lady and I were taken very well care of, very quickly rushed off the stage. Vice President J.D. Vance, who's here, was likewise beautifully done. He was just saying how quickly everybody acted, law enforcement, Secret Service in particular in this case, but law enforcement. Marco had the same thing. Pete was there. Pete didn't want any help. He didn't want anybody to help him. He doesn't want anybody to help him, but he did get some, didn't you? And I think you also said that it was very impressive. So with that, I'd like to ask Todd Blanche to come up, say a few words, and tell you it's already underway. The man has been captured. They're going to his apartment. I guess he lives in California, and he's a sick person, a very sick person. And we don't want things like this to happen. I think it's very important that I say, though, and I told the representatives of the evening, they did such a beautiful job. It was such a beautiful evening. And again, they're talking about free speech in our Constitution. That's what it's all about, not just White House correspondents. It was really based on free speech in our Constitution. But I said very importantly that we'll do it again within the next 30 days, and we'll make it bigger and better and even nicer. So I just want to thank everybody that was involved. I also want to thank the press, the media, You've been very responsible in your coverage. I will say I've been seeing what's been out. You've been very responsible. So Todd Blanche, I'd like to say a few words, and then we're going to have cash. And then you're going to go on. We can ask, I guess we can take a couple of questions. I want to thank the First Lady that was a rather traumatic experience for her. There was a lot of action taking place up there very quickly. But again, the response time was really incredible. And we're going to reschedule. We're going to do it again. We're not going to let anybody take over our society. We're not going to cancel things out because we can't do that. We wanted to stay tonight. I will tell you, I fought like hell to stay. But it was protocol. They said, please, sir, because they didn't know there was a lot of action going on, and they didn't know, could there be probably a lone shooter, but we'll find out. We'll find out very quickly. They have it very well under control. So I want to thank everybody very much. And Todd Blanche, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Tonight you saw the very worst and the very best of this country. You saw the very worst by the actions of that coward that the president just talked about. But you also saw the very best because you saw law enforcement do exactly what they're supposed to do. And you'll see the videos come out, I expect, very shortly, and you'll see law enforcement do exactly what we want them to do. And so I echo what President Trump just said, that we are extraordinarily grateful and appreciative of the men and women of law enforcement that did their jobs tonight, including one who was injured. This investigation is ongoing. I expect you will see charges filed shortly. The charges should be self-evident given the conduct, but as you'll hear, there will be multiple charges surrounding the shooting, around the possession of firearms, and anything else that we can get on this guy. The investigation is obviously ongoing and just started. There's federal law enforcement already working on search warrants and doing their job, and I don't want to get ahead of them and don't want to get ahead of the work that they're doing even as we speak. Director Patel and I were just on the crime scene a short while ago, and everybody in this room should rest assured that the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI, Secret Service, everybody's on the scene doing their job. I know that the police chief is going to give an update from the scene as soon as we're finished here, and I obviously will lead the details of what they have learned to him. But in the meantime, I just want to thank everybody in this room for the courage, and I want to thank President Trump for his words, and I promise you, justice will be served. Thank you, Dr. Patel.
Thank you, General. Thank you, Mr. President. The president's absolutely right. You saw the best resolve of American law enforcement because you, Mr. President, inspire them 24/7, 365. You give them the resources that they need, and they know that you have their back. And that is a changing dynamic in this country. And that's why you saw brave Secret Service agents respond immediately, swiftly, subdue and take down the suspect and safeguard the lives of thousands of individuals at that hotel. Thanks to our interagency partnership with the Department of Homeland Security and the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI was rapidly deployed onto the scene, took over the evidence response unit, is examining all the ballistics that were found on scene to include the long gun and the shell casings. We are conducting witness interviews as we speak. You will hear from our team on the scene there with the mayor and the head of the FBI field division there. But please know what the Attorney General has just said reigns no truer. You saw the very best of America tonight. The very best unite us at a time of uncertainty because we have leadership here with the president and vice president that backs law enforcement, and the men and women that I shook their hands on the scene today could not have been prouder to show up on scene. And as the Attorney General said, make no mistake, we are conducting witness interviews. If you have any information whatsoever related to this event, 1-800-CALL-FBI.
His hands are shining.
No piece of information is too small. No piece of information is inadequate. We will evaluate it all. We will also be conducting interviews of those that were there. And if any of those individuals have information, please come forward to law enforcement or the FBI or the Metropolitan Police Department. We will be examining this individual's background thoroughly. That process has already started. And we are going to ensure that he was either a lone wolf actor or anyone else that was responsible. We will analyze all evidence immediately to make sure that we safeguard this country. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, thank you for your leadership. Attorney General and Homeland Secretary Merlin, thank you for your partnership in law enforcement.
Thank you. Okay, we'll do a couple and then we go to the chief. Madam Chairman, I just want to say you did a fantastic job. What a beautiful evening, and we're going to reschedule. Okay. And after that, it's very tough for her to ask a killer question, right? But you have done a fantastic job. Please.
Mr. President, I appreciate it. As you mentioned, it all happened so quickly.
Yeah.
And I wonder, especially because unfortunately you have experience with these sorts of threats, in that moment when you realized there was a threat and service agents were telling us to get down, can you describe what was going through your mind, how you were feeling in that moment?
That's a very good question, actually. It's always shocking when something like this happens. Happened to me a little bit, and that never changes. The fact we were sitting right next to each other, First Lady on my right, and I heard a noise and sort of thought it was a tray. I thought it was a tray going down. I've heard that many times, and it was a pretty loud noise. And it was from quite far away. He hadn't breached the area at all. They really got him. But so it was quite far away, but it was a gun. And some people really understood that pretty quickly. Other people didn't. I was watching to see what was happening. Probably should have gone down even faster. Melania was very cognizant, I think, of what happened. I think she knew. I mean,
They're covered in paint.
that's a bad noise. And we were whisked away along with other people, but we were really whisked away. And again, the performance of the Secret Service and the police, all of the law enforcement, I thought was really good. So it was very quick. There wasn't a lot of time to be thinking because it was a matter of seconds before we were out the door and gone into an area. We very much, and you wanted to too, we very much wanted to continue it because I don't like to let these sick people, these thugs, these horrible, horrible people change the fabric of our life, change the course of what we do. So we held out. You were there. We held out right till the end, but they didn't want to take a chance, and I understand there was protocol. But we're going to be doing one hopefully within the next 30 days or sooner, and I am ready, willing, and able. And I was all set to really rip it. And I said to my people, this would be the most inappropriate speech ever made if I said what. So I'll have to save it. I don't know if I could ever be as rough as I was going to be tonight. I think I'm going to be probably very nice. I'll be very boring the next time, but we're going to have a great event. And you did a fantastic job. Thank you very much. Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. There's a report in the New York Post that this assailant assembled his weapon somewhere on site at the hotel. What do you think about that? And I ask respectfully, why do you think this keeps happening to you?
Well, you know, I've studied assassinations, and I must tell you, the most impactful people, the people that do the most, you take a look at the people, Abraham Lincoln, I mean, you go through the people that have gone through this where they got them, but the people that do the most, the people that make the biggest impact, they're the ones that they go after. They don't go after the ones that don't do much because they like it that way. And when you look at the people that have either, whether it was an attempt or a successful attempt, they're very impactful people. Just take a look at the names there, the big names. And I hate to say I'm honored by that, but I've done a lot. We've done a lot. We've taken this country, and we were a laughing stock for years, and now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We've changed this country. And there are a lot of people that are not happy about that. So I think that's the answer, Peter.
And after Butler, your team for a while rethought outdoor events.
Yeah.
Do you think that you now need to rethink
No.
indoor?
Well, but then you just don't do events. No, I can't do that. I have to, it is what it is. We have to do it. The room was very, very secure. You know, he charged from 50 yards away. So he was very far away from the room.
And what did you think when you saw the video of how fast he was running?
He was moving. He was really moving. And the reaction time was great. Boy, those guys, they had their guns drawn literally by the time he was there. They were shooting.
That's right.
I thought they were very impressive. And if I didn't, I'd let you know, I'm not going to be, I would not stand for that. No, I thought they were very impressive.
Thank you, President Trump, and thank
Right.
you for updating us on the
Thank you.
suspect earlier. Were you aware of any threats? Was your team aware of any threats beforehand? And do you believe you were the target of this tonight?
I guess. I mean, these people they're crazy. They're crazy. And, you know, you never know. He was very far away from me. He had to go through a lot. We had resources all over. We had resources sitting at tables, literally in disguise, sitting maybe at your table, who knows? But we had people all over the room, so he had a long way to go. That was really a first line of defense, and they got him. And they really, you know, they acted incredibly. No, there was no notification. We had no idea. Go ahead,
Do you
Kevin.
have any political motivations from this?
Well, you never know. Now, we'll be able to tell you that maybe by tomorrow or the next day. You know, he's in custody, and they're asking him a lot of questions. I guess they're going over, Todd, and they're already at his apartment. He lives in California.
Yes, sir.
And they're over there, so they'll be able to tell you. Thank you, Caitlin.
President Trump, did the suspect say anything, or was he wearing anything that would allege some type of motive here?
No, I mean, he was a guy who looked pretty evil when he was down. You know, they had him down. He was fighting hard. He was in my opinion, a sick person. Who would do that but a sick person? But I think you're going to find everything about him. No reason to talk about it now. But tomorrow at this time, long before this time, you're going to know a lot of things about him. They seem to think he was a lone wolf, and I feel that too.
Are you concerned about U.S. Secret Service protection ability? We saw several of the detailees take minutes to be escorted out the room.
No, they acted very quickly. No, I was very impressed by Secret Service. I mean, I'm the one, and Mark Wayne, you would agree with that, I think. I'm the one that would complain. You don't have to complain for me. I would be complaining. I'd be up here right now saying they didn't do their job. Oh, believe me, because, you know, it's my life. And I want to live because I want to make this country great. That's why I want to live. But when you're impactful, they go after you. When you're not impactful, they leave you alone. Okay, a couple of more. Go ahead, please.
Is there any indication that this shooting could have been linked to the war in Iran?
I don't think so, but you never know. We're going to know a lot. We have the best people in the world working on it, and we're going to know a lot. Please.
Mr. President, there's a lot. There's you, as well as some of us who have covered Butler, experienced another horrific day 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What felt similar? You know, you had the First Lady with you today. What felt different? And you have another 2+ years in office. Are you concerned about something like this happening?
Well, I
again?
can't be concerned. I can only get great people. They did the job, in my opinion, a much better job than Butler. Butler had one weak spot that we all know about. Somebody should have been up there. But even Butler, we had our sniper on our side within 4.2 seconds from a distance of about 400 yards, one shot, and he was gone. And if he didn't do it now, you know, he's David. His name was David. I say, hello, David, every time I see him. David, I like you very much, David. But think of that. Now, if he doesn't hit him, and he hit him right between the eyes from 400 yards without any notice, nobody knew. He heard a sound. He looked over, and there was actually a tree that was somewhat in his way. You know the story very well. And he aimed, he fired. And if he didn't do that, beyond me, you would have had a lot more people killed. We lost one great person and 2 people very badly hurt. They're okay now. But no, that was, so in a sense, you know, it was pretty amazing the job they did. But they did have that one weak spot. As you know, they should have had that covered. Tonight, they had everything covered very quickly. And he was fast. He was running full blast, and they got him before they got any further. I was very far away. You know, he hadn't anywhere close to breach the doors of the ballroom. The ballroom was sealed, and everybody in there. That's why once those doors opened, they didn't want to do tonight. If the doors weren't opened, we could have probably done it tonight. But I think we're much better off rescheduling. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, for you and perhaps law enforcement as well, what is the level of confidence that this was a lone actor? And has the suspect made any statements to police while in custody?
Yeah, I think it's just it's not my profession. We have great professionals up here and outside that have been working with us. My impression is he was a lone wolf. whack job. These are crazy people. These are crazy people, and they have to be dealt with. We had that in the second attempt, as you know, and he's spending life in prison because if you let him out, they'll probably, if he serves 10 years or 15 years, you let him out, he'll probably try it again with somebody else. They're sick people. We have a lot of sick people, but you're going to know, I think very shortly, you're going to know, Todd, a lot about him. You're going to know a lot about him. Yeah, a couple of more. Yeah, please go ahead.
Are you concerned about political violence? This could be politically motivated.
All violence. I'm concerned about everything. Look, but I can't be so concerned that you can't function. No, I'm here. It's a dangerous profession. I tell the story. Race car drivers, I think it's very dangerous. So you take 1% and then take about 10% of 1%, just to break it down very easily, they die. So much less than 1%, 10% of 1%. I think bull riding is very dangerous. If you take about the same 10% of 1%, much less than 1%, but if you take presidents, it's 5.8%, and about 8% are shot at. So nobody told me this was such a dangerous profession. If Marco would have told me, maybe I wouldn't have run. Maybe I would have said, I'll take a pass. No, it's a dangerous profession, but I don't view it that way. Look, I'm here to do a job. As part of the job, it is a dangerous, I can't imagine that there's any profession that's more dangerous, but I love the country and I'm very proud. I'm very proud of the job we've done. You see what's happened. We have a great country. We've got, I think, the most successful, the hottest country anywhere in the world. This happened over a period of just a year, and we're going to do great things, but with that come risks. There's no question about it. Yeah.
To that end, I mean, there's been so much political violence, not just aimed at yourself, but at other members of Congress, state house speakers, you name it. Is that just the cost of doing business to do politics in America anymore?
Yeah, well,
what does that say about our
elsewhere
country?
too. We're not the only country. You look at this great violence with all countries. I was talking to somebody from another country today, and they have numerous assassinations of political figures all over the world. You look at South America, it's like some of the numbers are just horrific. It's dangerous. It's dangerous stuff, whether it's here or someplace else. No country is immune. No country. Good question.
At this point?
Well, probably if I decided to just not do much, if I let everybody rip us off and take advantage of us. Look, we're leading the world in trade now. We're leading the world in the military. We're the greatest military in the world. I rebuilt it in my first term, and now we use it because we have no choice. We can't let, as an example, Iran, we can't let them get a nuclear weapon. Everything will be peanuts compared to that if they ever were given a nuclear weapon, and they'd use it too. Marco and I were talking about it today. They would use it without even hesitation. We can't do that. It was a shame. I said, oh boy, look at the numbers. We just broke 50,000 in the Dow. We just broke 7,000 in the S&P. They said we couldn't do it in 7 years, in 5 years, 4 years. They were saying maybe in 5 or 6 years. And we did it in 1 year. And I called everybody together. I called all of these people and others, and I said, we have to take a little journey. I seek to do this. We just had the great number. We just broke 50,000. Wasn't supposed to happen during my term. Wasn't reachable. We did it in 1 year. And I said, we're going to have to make a journey to Iran. They're going to have a nuclear weapon if we don't do it. We had the B-2 bombers take them out. I terminated in the first term the Obama agreement, the Iran nuclear agreement, which was a disaster. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. They would have used it. They would have used it 100%. So, when you do things like that, you become a target. If I wasn't doing that, I guess I'd be a lot less of a target. But I'm honored to be. Okay, one more question. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, President Trump. Did you know how the gun was brought into the hotel? And also, how does this event impact you as the leader of our country? Do you think it will change your
I
leadership?
like not to think about it. I lead a pretty normal life, considering it's a dangerous life. I think I handle it as well as it can be handled. I think a lot of other people, you read stories where they become basket cases. To be honest with you, I'm not a basket case. I take as really take it as it is. I do it for the country. I'm not doing it for any other reason. I have a first lady who's doing a terrific job. She loves the country, and she recognizes it better than anybody. She's told me numerous times. She said, "You are in a dangerous job," but that goes along with her too. I mean, it's dangerous for her too. We sat there tonight. We heard that noise, and it was either a tray or a bullet. I was hoping it was a tray, but it wasn't. And again, we had some very brave people doing a great job, so we're very proud of them and happy with them. I just want to thank everybody. They will be able to give you all that information as to the names and everything else. I think we released the names already. Most of you would have it, but his name. We appreciate it. I see so many tuxedos and beautiful dresses. It was a little different evening than we thought, but we're going to do it again, and we have a great chairman who we're so proud of, and we have to make it better. We'll make it safer, I guess, right? But we're going to make it even better. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
About how impactful this was. Can we hear from her about?
Well, honey, would you want to say something?
Okay.
Right.
Many of the people across the globe, in fact, are watching you. You demonstrated courageous leadership, and thank God you're alive. All of us are alive today. What is the message that you want to give to the world that this should change? What corrective measures can we take from here on?
Well, all you can do, look, I don't care how many people you have, how good they are. They can be the greatest people. You have the greatest security in history. If you have a whack job who's got a brain, but it's a little bit distorted or a lot distorted, they can make trouble. I would say, Pete, right? You know, they can make trouble. Some of these people are of genius level IQ, and they're nuts. So it can be trouble. So you do absolutely the best. You get the best. We have the best people. Well, look, it was proven tonight. He started running from 50 yards, and he was fast. He was like a blur on tape. He was moving. It was very impressive the way they got him, because a lot of people would be looking and saying, you know, it's like a weird feeling, and they would let him get through, but they didn't let him get through. They drew those guns so fast. They looked like Matt Dillon. They looked like somebody that knew what they were doing. What do we do? But it comes with the territory. And if you want to do a great job, I really believe that. And you take a look at what's happened to some of our greatest presidents, and it doesn't happen to people that don't do anything. And it's not going to deter me from winning the war in Iran. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I really don't think so, based on what we know. But we're going to continue to do a great job. That's all I can do. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad you're okay.
All right, so there you have it, folks. We have it. You heard it from the President of the United States in regards to this matter. We're going to go back and check out what happened. We're going to go through it again before we get out of here tonight. I see a lot of people are still saying that it's staged. Okay. Pretty Thing says that he's disgusting. Okay. Country Carpenters in the building. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I see all the different comments. All right. Pretty says it's on your dude now, buddy. Okay. Mike says he said to have made over $1 billion, talking about the President of the United States. Okay, so we have all sorts of conversations going here. Okay, so we're going to go back now and take a look at what happened in rare form tonight. So let's just check it out. I'm going to take you guys back here. Just give me 1 second. Okay, let's see if we can get to it here. Here we go. For those of you just coming in, you'll have a chance to see what happened. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys very much. So did you guys hear that? That was a shot, or sounded like a shot. Remember, he said the officer was shot, but his vest caught it. So I guess that's that moment. What's interesting, though, is that how would a guy have thought he would get to the president starting with the police outside of the door of the building? You know, it's kind of interesting. Now you see the lady here on the far end. I forget her name, but she was laughing, but that laugh came to a halt. You could also see the face of the first lady. I'm going to take you back for a second, but check out how she's just terrified, almost like she saw a ghost. Watch the first lady. You see her duck her head and watch the president. He's not covered as well as you would imagine. All right, we're going to go. Thank you, Eric. We're going to check out ABC.
The Attorney General
was a scene of chaos just earlier this evening that you and I both witnessed.
Yeah, and Diane, of course, you heard from the president there describing what happened. He has released that video there describing the alleged attacker racing past Secret Service, trying to get into the ballroom, which remained secure. The president saying he was taken down by Secret Service. He did say that one Secret Service agent was shot, but he praised his equipment, his vest, for protecting him. The president saying he, of course, has now spoken with him. The president also reflecting on what he was experiencing at that moment.
Man, did you guys see that? Wow, this guy came running past like he's a freaking quarterback. Check this out. That's crazy.
Down by Secret Service. He did say that one Secret Service agent was shot, but he praised his equipment, his vest.
Now watch, look over to the far left. You're going to see this guy in the far back here to the left. He's going to come running past them like a quarterback.
Protecting him. The president saying he, of course, has now spoken with him. The president also reflecting on what he was experiencing at that moment, saying, he heard that crash, as we all did there in the room, and he thought it was a tray going down. But he actually said, the first lady later reflected that she knew immediately what it was. I think what's interesting is to hear the president's tone here, especially as this is something, unfortunately, that he is familiar with. As you've been saying, he has been in similar situations before. He described this as a would-be assassination. And the president, interestingly, though, saying, describing this as essentially being.
That's what the president meant when he said he looked like a blur when he was running through.
Part of doing business when he was pressed here by my White House colleagues about political violence and what can be done to address it.
So he actually got the gun into the building. Like, how does that work? I don't understand that.
Obviously, he questioned whether this particular event needs to be held in a different venue. But while he praised the Secret Service, he didn't really speak more broadly about the need to dial down the temperature in this country. The president simply saying that these things happen, and he is a target because of the work that he does and the position that he holds.
Yeah, I said it's the cost of doing business, of politics in America, that no country is immune, and also a result of him being so impactful. He also praised the Secret Service, talking about how quickly they took action here. And we also heard from the acting Attorney General, Todd Blanche, saying that we saw the very worst and the very best of this country today. That was also a sentiment echoed by the FBI Director, Kash Patel. And I want to bring in our Chief Investigative Correspondent, Pierre Thomas. Pierre, tell us a little bit more about the investigation. We saw that video released by the president, and you can see this suspect running. And the president was saying he was really moving because it really looks like this man was sprinting, trying to get to that ballroom.
Dramatic and scary situation. What we know is that they have identified the suspect. They have a name. They believe he's from California. The Attorney General said that they are in the process of executing search warrants.
Else was involved. I want to turn to the chief of the
Is what Democrat mayor in D.C. Let's listen.
FBI field office, Darren Cox. We're here to provide you an update on the incident that took place tonight at 8:36 p.m. at the Washington Hilton at the site of the White House Correspondents Dinner. At about that time, a sole gunman rushed a Secret Service checkpoint in a lobby at the hotel. Secret Service agents stopped the suspect. An agent was injured and transported to a local hospital where the agent is receiving care. The suspect is also transported to a local hospital where he is being evaluated. The president returned safely to the White House, as you know. We are so very thankful to members of law enforcement who did their jobs tonight and made sure that all guests were safe. We have no reason to believe at this time that anyone else was involved. I want to turn to the chief of the Metropolitan Police Department, Chief Carroll, to provide a law enforcement update and specifics.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, I'm Jeff Carroll, Interim Chief of Police for the Metropolitan Police Department. This afternoon, this evening, members of the United States Secret Service and the Metropolitan Police Department were here at the Washington Hotel for a site detail for the Correspondents Dinner. As the mayor mentioned, at approximately 8:36 tonight, an individual charged a U.S. Secret Service checkpoint here in the lobby area of the hotel. He was armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives. As he ran through that checkpoint, members of law enforcement from the United States Secret Service intercepted that individual. This is a very preliminary investigation at this point. We do know that law enforcement exchanged gunfire with the individual. We do know that a U.S. Secret Service uniformed division officer was struck in his vest. He was transported to a local hospital for treatment. He seems to be in good spirits at this time. The suspect in this case, he was not struck by gunfire. However, he was transported to a local hospital to be evaluated. Again, we're very early in the investigation. We have members of the United States Secret Service, the Metropolitan Police Department, and the FBI here to continue to investigate this matter. But at this point, it does appear he is a lone actor, a lone gunman. There does not appear to be any sort of danger to the public at this time. However, we are continuing to investigate this matter. At this point, I will turn it over to, I believe, the FBI.
Hi, good evening. I'm Darren Cox. I'm the Assistant Director in charge of the FBI's Washington Field Office. The American public should be proud of the quick response and heroic actions from law enforcement officers tonight to keep the American public safe. Their actions are absolutely heroic. The public should also rest assured that there will be no stone unturned during this investigation. The FBI currently has our Joint Terrorism Task Force here on scene, along with our criminal division, our crisis response team, and agents from across the country are working on any leads that may come in this investigation. Anyone with tips in this investigation should call 1-800-CALL-FBI. Thank you.
Director. Director Kern.
Thank you. My name is Sean Kern. I'm the Director of the Secret Service. Tonight, we saw exactly what our brave men and women do each and every day to protect our protectees. It's not easy, and I will tell you that they performed admirably. We got to see what they do, and that individual, when he charged a checkpoint, was apprehended. It shows that our multi-layered protection works, and I'm grateful to our partners that help assist us with building these sites and protecting these sites. Very fortunate that this officer is alive, is being observed, and I'm grateful that the president reached out to this officer and spoke with him earlier. I ask everybody to pray for him and all of our officers and agents that were involved. And I will tell you, we will continue with the mission. Thank you.
Thank you. Judge Shapiro.
I'm Janine Pirro. I'm the United States Attorney. Right now, the defendant is being charged with 2 counts, 924C, using a firearm during a crime of violence, and a second crime under 111, which is assault on a federal officer using a dangerous weapon. Now, as you all know, there was an individual, a uniformed Secret Service officer, who was shot. Unfortunately, he is doing all right and he will be fine. But it is clear, based upon what we know so far, that this individual was intent on doing as much harm and as much damage as he could. And thankfully, because of the checkpoint right outside the ballroom, where thousands of people were situated to hear the President of the United States, because that checkpoint worked, there was no one who was injured when it was clear where this defendant was going. Now, I want to make one comment. As a participant, someone who was in the ballroom, who came this evening to be part of a very lovely event at the White House Correspondents Dinner, I, for the first time, was in a situation where there were shots fired, shots heard, and a whole room went silent. When I lifted my head and when I looked up, every law enforcement officer was out there as we all had our heads down, thousands of them. These are the men and women every day who do what they do silently, and they do it with courage and with dignity. Thank God for our partners, the FBI, the Secret Service, the Metropolitan Police. All of them tonight acted so quickly that they prevented what could have been a horrific event where we were all sitting there in one room. The defendant will be arraigned on Monday in federal district court, but make no mistake, there will be many more charges based upon the information that we are learning in this very fluid situation. Thank you.
I'll take a few questions. Right here in the front, right here in the front.
That this suspect is specifically targeting the president, and is he talking to law enforcement now?
Chief.
Sure. So at this point, what we know is we know the individual charged the checkpoint with a firearm in his hand. We know he was running in the direction of the ballroom that the president was in, as well as other cabinet members. So what his specific motivation was, we can't say at this point. However, as we continue to investigate that, we'll continue to work towards that.
Chief, when you say
there seems to have been a lack of authorization to come to this event. Was this a failure on the Secret Service?
What we have here is a multi-layered approach. The director spoke about it. We have officers on the outside from the Metropolitan Police Department, along with the escort. The inside portion of any presidential site is handled by the Secret Service and law enforcement partners. This is a multi-layered approach. The point of this checkpoint is to intercept individuals that were there. And what we see in this case is when he reached that checkpoint, Secret Service agents and law enforcement engaged him immediately. They were able to bring him into custody and prevent anyone from being harmed.
Okay, right here.
Chief Carroll, can you tell us if you found a vehicle associated with the suspect? And are you and the FBI conducting any search warrants either on a vehicle or locations here or elsewhere around the country?
Sure, Mark. So as you can imagine, this is very early in the investigation. So, things we're looking into is his background, vehicles. Those are all things that the FBI, the Metropolitan Police Department, and the Secret Service are working together jointly to determine, is there anything else that's available? So I would imagine as we continue to go through this investigation, there will be additional search warrants and things of that nature as the investigation progresses.
Is the suspect known to law enforcement?
At this point, he was not known to the Metropolitan Police Department. I can tell you that.
Right here.
There are multiple other parties and events happening associated with this weekend tonight. Is there any reason to believe that there will be security concerns at those events? Are there preparations being made locally to protect those attendees?
Yeah, absolutely not. So we have no indication. This is an isolated incident with one individual is the information that we do have. However, we do have additional officers across the city that are giving special attention. We do know there were some after parties and events that are planned that we will be providing coverage for those events.
Yep. The president said that this is not a particularly secure building. Do you agree with that assessment?
I'm not exactly 100% familiar with this building. I do know in this incident tonight, I know there was a security plan that was developed by the Secret Service that the Metropolitan Police Department assisted with, and I know that security plan did work this evening.
Right here.
Thank you so much. You know specifically if President Trump was a target of the attack, and can you speak to the reporting about the suspect assembling a long weapon to get into the ballroom? Can you speak to that at all?
Yes, as we said before, we do know the president was inside the ballroom. We know there was cabinet members and many guests in there. Who specifically he was targeting at this point, that's part of the investigation. We do know that he was armed with a shotgun when he ran through that checkpoint. So that would look like a long weapon in video.
All right, right here.
Clarify, earlier you said there was an exchange of gunfire. Did the suspect fire any shots? And did the uniformed officer, do you know yet which weapon he was shot?
Yeah, obviously we're only a couple hours into this incident, so we don't have that level of information. The FBI's evidence response team is here. They're processing the scene. So as the investigation develops, all that information will be figured out with the ballistics. The ATF is also on scene here with us.
So the suspect did or did not fire a shot?
Sure. So again, it's very preliminary information. We do believe he did. However, as the investigation determines, we'll pull the shell casings. We'll be able to get more information as we review more evidence. We're very early in the investigation.
All right, we can take a couple more right here, and one more over here.
Thank you so much. So the president said that he wants there to be another event within 30 days. Given what happened tonight, do you have any sense of what additional security measures might be put in place to ensure that something similar does not happen again?
Sure, I'll toss it to the Secret Service.
Yep, this is what we plan for every day. So we take each and every case and we evaluate it and we do site assessments. And that's why we go out and build these sites per what the event is. And that's how we go about our business.
So will there be any changes or added measures given that this did happen?
We're going to have to evaluate this evening.
Thank you.
Chief, is there any indication how the suspect got into the hotel? Was it a guest here? Are you searching rooms here?
So preliminary information, we do believe he was a guest here at the hotel. We have secured a room here in the hotel. And again, we'll go through the appropriate procedures to determine what was inside there. But that is secure. At this point, like I said, we believe he is the only suspect in this case.
Okay.
To jump on that question, I understand the multi-approach to security, but to walk in with a weapon of that caliber and get all the way to the ballroom, which is on the lower level, seems to be quite an extraordinary feat. How does that happen?
Sure. So again, I mean, we're very early in the investigation, so we'll have to determine, we'll go through video across the hotel to figure out how the gun got in, how it got down here. Those things will come through the investigation. At this point, we don't have that level of detail.
Okay, last one.
Yes, video appears to show the president falling down when he was being escorted out. Was he injured at all during his evacuation?
No, we don't have any information that he was injured.
Could you clarify how he was detained? If he was not shot, could you clarify how he was detained?
Sure. So law enforcement right here in this very area, they actually tackled him to the ground and handcuffed him.
And how many people were in the hospital?
Can you give us his name?
Not at this time. We will release his name, Mark, once we have all the information. Again, we're still running a lot of things down.
How many people in the hospital?
In the hospital, so we have the Uniform Division Secret Service officer who's being evaluated at the hospital who took a round to the vest, and the suspect is being evaluated, but he was not struck by gunfire.
Just right there, are you looking at any terrorism charges?
Well, as the chief just indicated, we're very early in this investigation, but make no mistake, if there is anything like that, we will find it and we will file it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So we have a clear indication of what happened tonight as best as possible. No idea what the fellow's name is, but they know where he lives, and they're probably already at his house shaking him down. We're going to go back briefly and take a look at what happened from top to bottom. before we end out for tonight, for those who may not have had the chance to see what happened, what materialized, and then we'll close out with a few parting words. Let's check it out. So you heard the shot. That sounds like the shot. Oh my, let me make sure. Let me go back. Sorry about that. It wasn't showing. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Paul. That was a shot. Watch Melania. Right now, they're going to rescue RFK, Robert F. Kennedy, and it appears maybe his wife, but there's a female trailing him. They tried to start a chant, but the people were not having it. It looks like Marco Rubio.
Bring him up.
All right. So that gives us an idea of what happened tonight as far as the White House and the Correspondents' Dinner with the President of the United States. I was not planning to go live tonight, but I saw this occur, so I wanted to come on and make sure I share it with you guys. You guys are so amazing. Thank you for coming on and sharing this moment. It's such a sad moment, but a monumental moment. I think a lot of people feel like it was staged. I still see that. We will continue to cover the story as it materializes more and more. I guess the president says that tomorrow they will share more information in regards to this case. So, again, thank you guys for tuning in. It was great to have this moment. 250 years proud, Eric. Okay, you're talking about the United States of America, the celebration for it. All right, we reached 150 likes. Thank you very much for pointing that out, New Jerseyan. And let's see, Joe says the Secret Service and the police did an amazing job protecting everyone. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really do appreciate you guys. I just want to say, we're living in a time when people, when they can't debate with you, perhaps they feel that they are insufficient when it comes to intelligence. Perhaps you beat them with the sharpness of your words or the wittiness of your tongue. And you know what they want to do? They want to come and snuff out your life. That's what people want to do, right? When they don't agree with you nowadays, they just want to come take you out or come punch you in the head or punch you in your mouth. These are the things that we start to see more and more today. A lot of it starts online, just with conversations, and people feel like that they can't get the better hand. So they want to come see you. And we're starting to see this more and more. We're starting to see it a lot when it comes to the president of the United States. And whether you like the man or not, we live in America. We definitely don't want to see a president or anybody else with their lives taken. Kind of like what we saw with Charlie Kirk. I'm from the South, and I'm wise enough to know that deep down inside, the average American, the average person won't tell you how they really feel. A lot of people will snow you to death. They'll tell you a bunch of nonsense, but the minute you turn your back, they'll tell other people how they really feel. And in many cases, when you think about your own life, I'm pretty sure you don't agree with everybody yourself, and you probably portray some of these traits in your own life, right? You might mumble, like even children, they mumble to their parents, like, that's just the nature and that's how this life moves. But if you don't agree with somebody, or perhaps someone beat you at the debate, that doesn't give you a right to go take their life, right? To go do some evil will thing. Why is that the case? Why are we seeing more and more of that? It's probably existed always, but because of the technology, we're able to see it more and more. In fact, tonight, as I was watching this displayed on live television. There was no time to really prevent this from the YouTube streets, at least. I actually saw this develop, and I had to come live and share it with you guys because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So the moral of the story is, folks, we have to learn to, if we have an issue debating with someone, that means you have to go hit the books and get a little bit smarter, because anybody can go and rough somebody up, right? And anybody can go get a gun and take someone's life. It's not some big deal. But at any rate, it's a big deal when they actually take steps to move on those impulsions. Eric says, didn't tell Trump to shut up. Okay, all right. I understand the frustrations. I get it. I totally get it. But again, folks, it's not the right to go take someone's life. And that's the moral of the story. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. with criminal defense attorney Calvin Johnson. I'm pretty sure we will have a moment to talk about this. There'll probably be more information available in regards to this at that time. And definitely we'll be breaking it down bit by bit with a criminal defense attorney. It's amazing to have people at a high level. On Wednesday nights, we have Candace Kelly. She's amazing too. On Thursday nights, we have Mama Flips and so much more. You guys be safe tonight. Make sure you lock your doors. We're also covering Nancy Guthrie, who went missing from her home, from her own bed. It just goes to show the nature of life and the things that we may have to contend with, because people have some evil hearts and they do some weird things, right? But at any rate, make it your aim to try to be safe and try to be smart. And again, make it your, oh, look at here. Wow. Guys, we have to do better with some of our language, because this is the subject matter that we're just talking about, and people are just going in, saying some vile things. At any rate, thank you. We'll see you guys out tomorrow at 7 p.m. New Jerseyan says, good night, Mel. Okay. Lee says, Democrats are responsible. I've already started to see people saying that the guy was a California Democrat, and they said the Democrats are behind this. So we'll just have to see what happens as we learn more about this tomorrow. Paul says, God bless everyone in the chat, and God bless America. What a good message. What a great way to end the show. Thank you, Paul, for those good words. Angelia or Angelique says, total BS. So you don't think it was a Democrat that's responsible for this? Okay. I'm pretty sure there'll be more information about this tomorrow, and we'll wait until then, until we find out for sure, so we don't spin a wrong narrative. So, guys, I'm going to end with Paul's words again. He says, God bless everyone in the chat, and God bless America. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you back tomorrow. Thank you for hanging out tonight as we covered this very important case. And we're happy in the end that no one was seriously hurt, especially the President of the United States. Thank you.
Different voices, but the same song. Living a world where we all belong. Kindness leading the way, breaking the chains. In the symphony of love, the thing remains. Embracing diversity, brighter days in sight. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. The colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand.